afternoon to all of you. I won't take much time. Post lunch is usually traumatic. I'll walk through it quickly. The purpose of me being here is to make use of this platform to acquaint all of you with the opportunities in the industry sector that are there. I know that all of you are associated with the IT or BPO and BPM sector. Nonetheless, I do believe that a platform like this should be used for disseminating more knowledge about what the state has to offer, so that you're more confident about the ecosystem that you will be entering if at all you choose to come to Chhattisgarh. Some of the slides you will find in common between what Saurabh showed you and what I'm going to show you. Bear with me. There are some other points that I would like to bring out. Chhattisgarh does rank among the in the top 1/3 quartile of states when it comes to ease of doing business. Government of India is in the process of coming out with numbered ranking of states by end of June. That is another 4 days. We are quite hopeful that we should be in the top 5 of that numbered ranking. As of now, we are in the top 1/3 states in the country when it comes to ease of doing business, which means that red tape and permissions required are lesser or than other states, and are processed much faster than you would find in other states. That's not just because of a structural difference in the way businesses are handled and engaged over here, but also because of a different attitude towards businesses and towards hosting them over here. There is a distinct cost advantage in setting up over here. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to dwell on the software side of things. I'll tell you as to how it actually works because of the existing industries that are already there. Lower cost of operating business, not because that's what is projected in the future, but because of what actually happens as on date. We are central and peaceful. I'm sure this point has been told to you since morning. I remember the Honorable CM also making the same point. But we truly are, geography is an advantage that we have. We are in the center of India. That makes logistical sense. It's easier, access is easier from here, raw materials and resources, and to evacuate them from here. Core strengths, you've seen part of the slide. My point is that in mineral reserves, the first part of the slide is that we have 36% of tin, 18% of iron ore, 17% of coal, 11% dolomite. What it means is we are sitting on one of the largest, after Jharkhand, we are sitting on the largest reserves of mineral wealth in India. The second thing is, it's not enough for you to sit on mineral wealth. What are you doing with that? So the second part of the slide deals with that. All the tin that is made in India, all the tin comes from Chhattisgarh. 100% of the tin is manufactured and produced in Chhattisgarh. 30% of India's steel output comes from Chhattisgarh. 30% of its aluminium and 15% of its steel. So the core sector consists of 4 basic industries: electricity, that is power generation, aluminium, steel, and cement. So in these 4 sectors, we are among the leaders in the country, either in the top 1 or 2 producing state in the country. We are the power hub. The Chief Secretary sir had told you in the morning, 21,000 megawatts is what we already produce, and by the end of this 5th year plan, we will go up to 38,000 megawatts. What's important for you are 2 things. As an investor, you have assured quality supply. We really don't have power cuts over here. The power cuts that are witnessed over here are probably because of a tree falling on a power line or some such outage which is out of any systemic control. The second important thing is the cost of power. Our power costs are 1/3 of the national average. We are 1/3 lower than the national average. So that directly translates into your operating margins. Whatever be your scale of business, small or medium or big, it translates into your operating margins. The proof of this lies in the last line, that is the IEMs that were filed in 2014, that was proposed for investment of 1,60,000 crore, which by the way is the highest in the country. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th states put together, their net IEM investment data is lesser than this 1,60,000 crore, which shows that the confidence of core sector industry in wanting to invest in Chhattisgarh is at an all-time high. Our installed capacity 23,000. We are planning to scale up by 41,000 megawatts. I'm only reiterating what I told you earlier: power on demand, cheaper electricity. Just to share with you the kind of profits everyone's been telling you, we are, come here, do business, we make sense because operating costs are lower. Just wanted to show you the actual profit before tax as declared by these companies in their annual reports. The first three companies are government companies, and the third one is a fourth one is a private company. I'm just sharing these to give you a flavor of the kind of profits before taxes that these companies make over here. So, which again means that the companies are able to run all the time. They don't have, this is proof of what we are saying, that there is a harmonious labor climate. We've not seen any, the Bhilai steel plant has not, its sinter plant furnace has not seen a shutdown even once due to labor problem since 1965. Our Chief Secretary is very fond of saying this, that while Steel Authority of India's other plants saw their sinter batteries being shut down, but भिलाई में हमारा बैटरी कभी बंद नहीं हुआ है. Very harmonious labor climate. This is just to show to you that despite whatever images you might carry about Chhattisgarh when you come here for the first time, this is the biggest proof, this one slide, about the fact that there is business going on over here and it goes on at such high profitability. Moving on, like I said, my focus is going to be industry. So the industrial areas that we have already developed or are developing, this is for your knowledge, which I hope comes in handy if and when any other people that you know are interested in investing here. Korba district has an aluminium park. Sorry, the pointer is not working, but Korba is somewhere, the yellow district in the northern part. There's a green triangle there, that's Korba. There's an aluminium the Balco plant is over there, so aluminium is made over there. We're planning to have an aluminium park which will be for downstream industries. Land for that has been identified. We are going to notify that aluminium park, so there's a lot of scope and potential for medium scale players to enter in the downstream aluminium sector. Urla, Sirgitti, these are engineering clusters. One Urla is in Raipur, Sirgitti is in Bilaspur. These clusters have got in principle approval. We have started spending the money in order to develop the infrastructure. New industrial parks are being set up in Jagdalpur, Surajpur, Tilda and Kanker. Now please note that Jagdalpur and Kanker are in what you would typically call Naxal affected areas. So even over there we are finding that nearly 30-40% of there is already queries for setting up industrial unit, for how do we take the plots, how I want to book a plot over there, how do I do that. There's an electronics manufacturing cluster. This makes sense for all of you. This has been spoken of even by NRDA personnel in their presentation to you. So the electronics manufacturing cluster is coming up in Naya Raipur. We've got permission. There are 3 mega food parks, one in Dhamtari. Dhamtari food park is being set up by government itself, and Indus Mega and Raipur Mega food park are being set up by private players. If anyone's interested in the food processing story, food processing and processing of such produce which comes from forests, it's a very big growth story in Chhattisgarh. So you're most welcome, and we already have the parks in place for that. Some of the sectors that in core industries that we are moving away, like Saurabh was telling you, that our focus is on moving away from core industries to non-core sector. So these we have identified as some of the thrust sectors: defense, new and renewable energy, automotive. In new and renewable energy, let me reiterate that the visit by the chairman of SoftBank and Mr. Mittal of Airtel, who had just come down day before, they are looking at the new and renewable energy sector. So when we say new and renewable energy, we are not inviting you to come down to set up solar power plants. No, we are the investment opportunity is in terms of setting up setting up manufacturing centers for developing the hardware of new and renewable energy, such as solar chips, solar panels, wind turbine systems, any of the components that go into such alternative energy systems. Automotive, we believe, is a very undertapped segment in Chhattisgarh. We have all the raw material. There was one back of the envelope study we had gotten done by Ernst & Young, and we were told that there would be a roughly 8 to 10% profit. There would be an 8 to 10% cost differential for a unit that were to set up in Chhattisgarh, because the input costs, all the steel, all the aluminium that goes into automotive sector would have to travel far lesser distances if a plant were to come up in Chhattisgarh. Those directly contribute to operating margins. Once the Excel sheet, costing sheet is ready, I will be more than happy to share it with you. Likewise, in the defense sector, because defense offsets are here with us, and we Chhattisgarh is close to all the mineral wealth and the rare earths, which are a critical requirement for the defense sector. So we believe that having that in the priority or thrust sector in Chhattisgarh is something which will attract industries to come and look at this sector. Just to tell you, in the defense sector, some of the incentives, like Saurabh was sharing with you the incentives that he gives in the industrial policy, in the IT policy. In the industrial policy also, a very attractive package of incentives has been architected. Our industrial policy, the latest one, came out in January 2015. This is in operation from 2014 till 2019. So if any of you are looking at investing, these are the actual figures which will apply. You don't need to worry about the old figures. These are the actual figures which will apply. There's 100% exemption on stamp duty. We give interest subsidy up to 60% depending on the kind of investment you bring in. There's exemption in land premium in our industrial parks up to 50%. Fixed capital investment subsidy, which is a large component, is up to 45%. Electricity duty exemption up to 10 years, and entry tax exemption up to 7 years, or until GST is introduced, because once GST comes, entry tax will not make any sense whatsoever. We already have signed an MOU with a drone manufacturing company just recently, 2 weeks ago. So they're setting up a drone component manufacturing center here in Chhattisgarh. Again, what we're trying to say is that the ecosystem which is required for a defense manufacturing sector is already there over here in Chhattisgarh. We have the Chhattisgarh Odisha sub area. 500 acres have already been allotted to the armed forces. There are talks to give some land to the Air Force also. So there will be a huge defense ecosystem in place over here. So you're all most welcome to come and make use of that. The location, the last point, strategic depth and safety is important even for firms in the BPO or IT sector. When it comes to business continuity aspects, this is what we saw in Nepal earthquake recently. Our servers cannot be in places which are seismically unstable. We need to have disaster recovery systems in place. So this is the most stable part of the Indian tectonic plate. Chhattisgarh is a part of that. Also, from any defense manufacturing perspective, we are far inland, away from any hostile borders, so that whatever strategic assets are there will be safe and secure from any misadventure on the part of any foreign power. Automotive sector, again, just a brief glimpse of we'll share all these PPTs with you. They're already part of our website. You can go on to our industries website. All these, in fact, sector profiles and our industrial policy are already there. So you don't need to worry about this data. It is easily available to you online. The automotive sector, what we are saying is that the Bhilai Raipur area is already host to a lot of ancillary industries, so your base is already there for a big automotive manufacturer or an auto component manufacturer to come into Chhattisgarh. This is part of a priority and focus sector in our industrial policy. New renewable energy, just to show to you that some of the things that you could look at investing in is PV modules, the wind turbine systems, small hydropower systems, biomass boilers. There's a lot of biomass power generating systems in power plants in Chhattisgarh. So biomass boilers make sense, and the other ancillary materials that are parts of such alternate energy systems. Again, over here we have the best in class set of exemptions that are given. The exemptions that you see on the table to your right is just a glimpse. There are 16 exemptions in total. There's a technological patent subsidy also given. So there are 16 exemptions. I have just culled out the more important ones and listed them over here. The electronics manufacturing cluster is in the Naya Raipur sector 22. I'm told you will be taken for a field visit after this, so you can see it for yourself. It's 28 hectares. We have got the in-principle approval from Government of India for this. We have invited SPV players. I am told that the SPV players have been selected, and the next stage is that we will be throwing open the plots for interested participants to come and book their plots in. You're all most welcome to do that. This is just some of the details of the kind of breakup. Non-processing area is up to 13%, and about 87% is as per this. This was the proposal which Government of India approved. within the EMC, the government of India related subsidies will also accrue to you. Over and above that, the subsidies being given by the state government as part of its own industrial policy. Uh, I'm just summarizing some of the key incentives that are part of our industrial policy. Uh, I have shared all of them with you. For certain sectors, which are priority sectors, they're a little more. The institutional framework, how it works is that the single window, single point of contact for industry, any non-IT based industry, is SIPB, the State Investment Promotion Board. Department of Commerce and Industry processes all applications that come in through the SIPB, and the CSIDC, that is our Industrial Development Corporation, is the agency related to executing and ensuring that lands are available for industrial purposes, ensuring the maintenance of such lands, allotting such lands to you, and hand-holding an industry through its life cycle. I'm just going to complete by summarizing the advantages of what are the advantages that come with setting up business in Chhattisgarh. We are central, well connected. We are one of the most mineral-rich states. We are energy-rich and cheap energy. We supply it at cheap rates as well. We're rich in land and water. We get twice the precipitation, more than twice the precipitation that India does. So our water aquifers and the surface runoff is, we have surplus in that. India's first 21st century city, Naya Raipur. We have an excellent industrial climate. There are no labor shutdowns or strikes. Skilling youth, I have not shared with you because there wasn't much time, but trust me, we have one of the largest youth training programs in India as on date. The skilling initiative of Chhattisgarh has churned out the largest number of skills. I'm not talking of I'm not talking of degree oriented, but I'm talking of skill oriented youth in the country today. We are a unique knowledge hub. We have the IIT, IIM, and across sectors we have, across functional areas of study, we have higher educations of learning. This is important because this is where your talent pool for any business enterprise that you intend to set up over here will come from. We are very rich in biodiversity. That is, after work, if you wish to enjoy and play, there's enough to go out and see in Chhattisgarh. And we are very cosmopolitan and vibrant, because of which we believe that the younger generation, or the younger workforce that you would seek to bring over here would want to stay on and work over here. So I invite you all to invest in Chhattisgarh, and thank you for the time and patient hearing. I'm open to questions if any.